Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel, where I share the most chilling and terrifying stories from around the world. Today, I have a special treat for you, a military ghost story from the USA. This story was told to me by a former soldier who claims to have witnessed it firsthand. He says it happened in 2010, when he was deployed to a remote base in Afghanistan. He and his squad were assigned to patrol a nearby village that was suspected of harboring Taliban insurgents. One night, as they were approaching the village, they saw something that made their blood run cold. They saw a man walking towards them, wearing a U.S. Army uniform. He looked like a typical soldier, except for one thing: he had no head. His neck was a bloody stump, and he was carrying his severed head in his hands. He was holding it by the hair, and it looked like he was talking to it. The headless soldier walked past the squad, ignoring them, and headed towards the village. The squad was stunned and terrified. They tried to radio their base, but there was no response. They decided to follow the headless soldier, hoping to find out what was going on. They followed him to the village, where they saw a horrifying sight. The village was a massacre. Bodies of men, women, and children were lying everywhere, some of them mutilated and burned. The headless soldier walked among the corpses, still holding his head and talking to it. He seemed to be looking for someone. He finally stopped at a house that was partially destroyed by a bomb. He kicked the door open and entered. The squad followed him, cautiously. Inside the house, they saw a woman lying on the floor, covered in blood. She was still alive, but barely. She had a large wound on her chest, and she was clutching a baby in her arms. The baby was dead. The headless soldier walked up to her and knelt down. He placed his head next to hers and whispered something in her ear. She screamed and died. The headless soldier then stood up and walked out of the house. He threw his head in the air and caught it. He smiled and laughed. He looked at the squad and said, "Do you like my story? It's true, you know. I was here, 2 years ago. I was part of a special ops team that raided this village. We were supposed to kill only the insurgents, but we got carried away. We killed everyone. Men, women, children. Even the animals. We had fun. We took trophies. I took this head. It was my wife. She was from this village. I married her before the war. I didn't know she was here. I didn't recognize her. I cut off her head and took it with me. I talk to it every night. It keeps me company. It tells me stories. Stories of how much she hates me. Stories of how much she wants me to die. Stories of how she will haunt me forever. I love her stories. They make me feel alive. Do you want to hear more stories? I have plenty. Come, follow me. I'll show you more. Come, come, come. The headless soldier then ran towards the village, laughing maniacally. The squad was paralyzed with fear. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know if he was a ghost, a hallucination, or something else. They didn't know if they should follow him, run away, or shoot him. They didn't know anything. They only knew one thing: they were in hell. That's the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified of my next video. Until then, stay safe, and remember, there are things out there that are worse than death. Goodbye.